My husband will deal with it later.
Put hours into writing
Yeah,
something,
but-
and then it's like, we don't need that.
Just because some people prefer things one way or another doesn't mean that you need to make the change.
You're going to axe stuff.
Yeah, act stuff. And
You're
add
going
stuff.
to realize you missed things that you need to put in.
The point of draft 1 was to get more than an outline on the paper.
I wrote the first draft, word vomited it, 80,000 words. You wrote the second draft. You completely rewrote it.
I don't think there's any one book that's going to appeal to everyone.
It's the problem that you run into, like, especially with love triangle books.
The number one thing to do is to write the story.
Yeah, and that's hard.
Obviously,
I started
you wrote
with
the first draft.
which was basically word vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, okay,
You're
so
right.
let me explain this a little bit, because I was either a sleep-deprived mother with, like, children that were getting me up
You've
at night.
been that since 2017.
Right. So I have been that, or I was pregnant. And
Or both.
tons of me writing the first draft was like us being in the same room, me typing, and then reading off a sentence to him where, like, I couldn't think of a word that was in the sentence, and him telling me what that word was, because I just could not.
What's the word for la 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 la?
Yeah. It was just me word vomiting any idea I had.
I mean, the point of draft 1 was to get more than an outline on the paper.
And it ended
But it was
up
very, like...
It ended up at like 80,000 words.
Yeah, so it was still a lot, but
yeah,
there were definitely, like, major
there were major
things
sections
missing.
that were not there because I just could not get my brain to wrap around what I wanted.
I mean, we added 60,000 words, so it didn't quite double in size, but, like, I mean, that gives you an idea of...
But you're also a much better writer than I am.
Well,
and so when it
that's
came
debatable,
to, like,
A and B.
it's not debatable. Not even a little bit.
Just better doesn't mean longer. So all
That's
I'm trying
true,
to say
but you
is...
could get a lot more detail in there that I had in my brain that I could not
Yeah,
get
but
out
everything that was
nicely.
missing in draft 1 wasn't just detail. I mean, there were, like, major story arcs that weren't in there.
Well, yeah, and
because-
plus things that, like, as we were writing, it was like, hey, we didn't include this, and that's kind of important for, this later thing that happens or whatever. And as you're writing, you find things like that because you're not perfect. So writing it the first time, you're always going to miss stuff. And so, yeah, I wrote the first draft, word vomited it, 80,000 words. You wrote the second draft. You completely rewrote it. Like, I don't think you copy and pasted anything from what I wrote.
I don't remember. I may have copied some. I don't remember exactly. But yeah. So I rewrote the story. I mean, I was tracking your story. I would have what you had written up, and then I would write. I mean, I went chapter by chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And some stuff did, I guess I should probably clarify, because some stuff did get cut.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Because your beginning section was a lot longer.
Why is this here?
Yeah.
Do we need this? And I was like, I want it.
Yeah. I don't remember. Do we still have the apple scene?
No.
In the original book? Yeah.
We don't
so there's like this whole
anymore,
scene
I don't think.
in the beginning of the book about, it was like a magic interaction, but it was like slow. It just kind of, it wasn't critical to the story.
Yeah.
It was slow.
It was sort of an introduction to the magic, but not
part of the problem
useful enough.
Yeah, part of the problem was that already as is, like, getting her into, like, the new world takes a little while,
Yeah.
And we've had mixed reviews on this. Some people don't like the slow pacing. Some people really like the slow pacing.
Well, because they feel like they're really experiencing it with her.
Yeah, so, and the pacing, I mean, it's book 1 of a 4-part series, and like anything, the pacing picks up as the conflict kind of intensifies later on in the book. But, already at the beginning, it was like, man, this is, like, taking forever. So we did cut a lot of stuff too, but, and I think that was one thing that was really important to be willing to do as a writer. And it was
Yeah.
more for you, because for me, I was
Well, it's
coming into
hard.
it
You
and
put
just,
hours into writing
yeah,
something, and
but,
then it's like, we don't need that.
and I remember it was hard
Oh,
because we would talk and I'm like, we gotta cut, like, not that we have to, but like, we really should cut this.
yeah. It's just
And,
not doing what it's meant to be
right,
doing.
it's like,
Yeah.
in terms of a reader reading the story, it's not that it's a bad scene or that it's necessarily, but yeah, it's not like progressing the plot, or it's not like giving us some like key insight into a character or whatever.
Hmm.
Or even if it is, I mean, because
Well,
I don't know that it wasn't giving some insight into, the main character, but it was just like not enough to warrant, like, it was
I
so
mean,
much more important to get her to where she was going,
yeah.
and like start like having her interact with the other characters and like do
And the
that kind
thing
of
that you
stuff.
realize as you're writing is you'll write scenes like that, and then you'll realize, well, I could actually mix like these three scenes in some way, and it would hit all of these points that I'm trying to hit with these, like with
Mhm.
them separate. And I think that's kind of what happened with the Apple one, because she does that, but she does it with another character, and you get to know that character a little bit. And it's like in the new world, so she's learning, about the world at the same time.
Yeah, and by that point, the
Mm.
reader's no longer like anxiously waiting for this, like, to kind of get to the next point. That was the hard part too.
Yeah.
Is like it was at a point in the story where it just wasn't right
Mhm.
for there to be like an event like that,
Yeah.
because it was like you're in this very much transition period where, like, it's like, okay, like, get to the thing.
Let's go. Let's move along the map and
Right, right. So,
do. Yes, that's true. And yeah, you come across stuff like that. I do remember, so maybe we can transition into like the beta reading stuff now, unless you had more thoughts on the editing.
I don't think so. I mean, that's just kind of how it went. I think it was just important to, you know,
You're going to act stuff.
yeah, act stuff and
You're
add
going to
stuff.
realize you missed things that you need to put in. And part of that was sending it out to beta readers. We had, what, 4 beta readers? Sorry, would you consider them alpha readers? I don't know. Beta readers.
People that read our book.
We are the alpha readers. Yes. Well, people that read the book before, like, we knew we still probably had edits to do, but
Yeah. I mean, it was all family, right? So we had
family and
family read
close
our
friends,
book,
yeah.
and we got some feedback.
Mhm.
And actually, based on that feedback, we added a lot of stuff.
We added a lot of stuff. We made some major changes, and I feel like I can say this one because it's not like plot. It's not gonna give anything away. Let me put it that way. But we got notes back from everybody, and there was the same note on everybody's stuff that like was such a weird thing to stick out to everyone. And it was basically one of our characters, he has a niece, and at one point in one of the chapters, he mentions to his sister, like, I'm gonna send a birthday present for her this week because it's her birthday that week. And everybody finished the book and they're like, well, what the heck did he send? Like, I want to know what he sent for her birthday. And when I had written that, or when we had written that, it was just kind of like an off the hand comment, like just to show that he was living with this, like his family. He was very well connected to them, and they had close relationships. And I had not thought about the fact that people would want to know what he had gotten her. Like, it
Yeah,
just
like,
didn't
it doesn't
even
matter. It
cross
didn't
my
matter,
mind.
and it doesn't matter. But like, people wanted to know, so
Right. And so
we just
then when we were writing it later, there were some things about, how certain relationships progressed, and, well, what about this? We didn't really learn about this. And we took like 3 of those things that people were really wanting to know that they hadn't gotten in that draft that we had given them, and just threw them all together and created a whole new scene that is honestly probably one of my favorite scenes in the book at this point, that includes, what he got her for her birthday so everybody can know that, because that was so important for literally every reader to know.
Yeah. So we did add some stuff. We also didn't make certain changes that the beta readers wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that was important too, because
Well,
everybody's going to have a different take on your book, but it's yours. And just because some people prefer things one way or another doesn't mean that you need to make the change. I mean, that, there's no end to that. Like, you could go back and pick all your favorite big hits. You could read Harry Potter, you could read, Narnia, whatever. You could read all these books and go, well, I would have done, and that doesn't, and some of those even may be like popular opinions, right? Like,
Yeah.
or even, I mean, I don't know if you can really have something that's objectively correct, excuse me, in this context where you're talking about writing a story, but like, you may say, hey, Harry Potter should have done this, and maybe really should have, but it's like, okay, but you didn't write the story, so
Yeah, it's not your
too
character.
bad. So there was some of that stuff. I don't remember what exactly, but
I mean, and we've even noticed it since publishing the book, because we've gotten a fair amount of reviews now, and you have 5-star reviews that are like, I couldn't put this book down, I love this book. And then you have 1-star reviews that it's like, I mean, it's good for what it is, but I didn't like it at all. And you're like, it's just
yeah, you're never gonna. I
the
mean,
wide difference between opinions.
I don't
on
think there's
something.
any one book that's gonna appeal to everyone.
Yeah. And even like a book that is really like, I remember getting our first, was it after I got the 2-star review or the 1-star review? Because we've had a couple 2 and 1-star reviews.
I think you only have one 1-star review.
Yeah.
But you have a couple 2-stars.
I do have a couple 2-star reviews. But
As
vast
of
majority,
yesterday.
vast majority are like 3, 4, 5. But I remember getting the first 1-star review, I think. And I was like, what the heck? Like, because in my brain, a 1-star review is like, there are significant issues. There's like incorrect grammar all over the book. There's no plot. There's like, it's just, it should never have been made into a book. And so I was like, okay, well, like, have people rated books that I love that are good, like 1 star? So, and I had just finished Anne of Green Gables. So I looked it up on Goodreads, and sure enough, there's like thousands of people that have rated it 1 star. And I was like, okay, like, it's not art. Like, it's not, walking into a cathedral or something, but it's like, it's a good story and it's kind of cute. Like,
some
but
people will
no,
never be happy. You'll never
1
please
star.
anyone.
Yeah, well, and then I was like, okay, well, what about Lord of the Rings? Like, nobody could rate that 1 star because, even if you didn't enjoy reading it, the craft is impeccable,
You would think.
And then there were like thousands of 1-star reviews. I'm like, whoa, like, how? And so when it comes down to it, when you're writing, you're not going to please everyone. Not even Tolkien could please everybody.
And you'll have to sift through. I mean, it can be difficult to sift through the feedback because some of it is like, yeah, that's a fair point. Like, that needs to be addressed or updated or
And
whatever.
we did that with some of our,
But
relationships
some of it,
and how
it's
they
like,
built. And
hey, I felt like this character this or that or whatever. And it's like, well, we're not, that's needs to stay the way that it is.
I mean, it's the problem that
Or
you
we
run
want
into.
it to stay the way that it is.
Yeah, we like it that way. It's the problem that you run into, like, especially with love triangle books, where it's like there's always going to be a certain amount of the population that's like, she should have ended up with this guy. And it's like, the author does not need to listen.
You can write a fan fiction
yes,
and post it on the internet.
Yeah.
Have a nice
that's
day.
why they have like Draco, Hermione,
Good
fiction
heavens.
every.
We don't need to
I've
get
never
into that.
read it, but I
How
know
do you
it
know
exists.
about this? I'm
I've
curious.
seen many a reel about it. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, you can just tell there's always going to be
match than anyway.
You might be right. I mean,
I'm objectively correct.
We're going to get feedback, and some of the stuff you can take, some of it you don't have to. And I feel like this gets a little bit harder when it comes to querying, but we're talking about that in the next video, so you're gonna have to go to the next video to find out about that.
Yeah, so
Any last thoughts?
I don't know. This one can be kind of short. I mean, the writing process, I feel like what was important about this, if I had to, if we're going to summarize, is one, you wrote the first draft, and it was just writing it and getting it on paper.
As fast as you can.
I don't know that you necessarily have to go as fast as you can, because you and I have a
think
different
so.
writing style.
Well, the reason I think you kind of have to do it the fastest that you can is because then you have something to work with. Before then, it's just like, oh, I should probably get to that.
Yeah,
and-
I mean, look, you and I write differently. So my thought is, if I write a bunch of garbage, or what I think is garbage,
mm-hmm.
then going through the second time to me is like onerous. I'm like, ugh.
See, if I write a bunch of garbage, I know you're going to be going through the next.
Thanks, really appreciate that.
I'm just kidding. I mean, kind of.
My husband will deal with it later.
I mean, it worked.
Where's the lie? No, but so, because I'm writing another book, and
which I'm so excited about. I've been reading it, and
no, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
Since when?
Since you started writing it. I've
You
just
read
been intermittently
some of it
reading
ages
it.
ago. Anyway,
But every scene I read, I'm more and more excited.
As you
for
may
it.
be surmising from our conversation here, it's languishing. But anyway, I feel like I haven't been rushing that one as much as you kind of rushed your first draft. But the point is to get the story down, because you'll already be ahead of a lot of people if you get that done. And then what we did is we had the luck of writing with each other, so you get a second pair of eyes on it. But I would probably say, if you have somebody like that, great. If you don't, reread it yourself and fine tune it. And we did a couple of drafts before we sent it to beta readers.
Yeah.
And then we got some outside feedback,
which was so helpful.
Which was really helpful. And then we redid. I think we did 2 drafts. Did we do 1 or 2 drafts after the beta readers?
Just 1.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway.
We just did 1.
But then it was pretty much good to go, So I think the writing, I mean, for purposes of these videos, we're doing brainstorming and writing, but really, I mean, they're like...
Those were one of the
We did
same.
them together.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's kind of... Maybe if you're writing something shorter, it's different. But, I mean, even the thing I'm writing, which is a lot shorter, is still, I'll get to... I outlined it, and then as I'm writing it, I'm still figuring out that, like, I have to brainstorm as I go for certain things. So,
yeah, there's just more details that it's harder to get into.
That's inevitable.
Anyway, so you have to do that. Yeah.
I guess that can be that for the writing video. That'll make that one a little bit shorter, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of details. If you have questions,
ask them.
Comment below, as
or
they say.
Or if you want us to dive deeper into anything,
on the YouTube.
We've done it and we're continuing to do it, but some of these things, I mean, we just lived it and moved on, and so we don't really think much about the details.
Well, especially on YouTube and social media, everybody's like, the 6 things you need to do to blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
yeah,
kind of, sort of.
Well, I remember
not really. I mean,
thinking, like,
just write your book. You know, I mean, and that sounds simplistic. I'm not trying to, like, be patronizing to anyone, but, the key to, if you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I want to write, we're not here to tell you, the key to success, because we're not there yet.
No.
We wrote a book, but we're still trying to market it and sell it.
We've really done the part that we can do on the craft.
But the number one thing to do is to write the story.
Yeah. And that's hard.
And then, you're going to have to refine it, but
at least you have something to work with.
It is just putting the work in and getting it done. So, yeah, I don't know that there's a whole lot to say more about the writing. Questions in the comments. And we're happy to answer whatever we can. Or if you would like, yeah, like Alina was saying, if you would like a video on something specific, let us know.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
But that's that. And I wish we were going to bed because I'm exhausted, but no.
One more video.
Part 3, here we come.
Part 3 will be querying, formatting, cover art, and printing, which is gonna be fun.
I don't want to go to.
We'll make it quick.